Let's get started. We're going to blast through this tonight, hopefully.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Additions to the agenda, we have one from the historians about a grant for National Register signage. We'll put that under new business before the executive session, so in between our discussion with Mr. Hamilton and the executive session, if everybody's okay with that. Okay, somebody make a motion, please. Moved and seconded to add the historians to our agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I guess I should have asked if anybody had anything else, but I assume not since I didn't have a note. Anybody else have anything? Okay. I have no remarks.
Mr. Chair, could we acknowledge that the fire department put on that portion of the summer camp,
Yeah.
which was very well received by the children and the parents, and they are already requesting that it be included again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody spends any time on Facebook at all, you probably saw some Facebook posts on Tuesdays, I believe, was fire camp. It's Mondays or Tuesdays, I can't remember. That the rec put on in cooperation with our fire department. I think we had around 13 or 14 kids that participated, and hopefully will become a feeder program, so to speak, for the Explorer program.
So they did actually get one that signed up out of this.
Good.
So,
and that hopefully will feed into our volunteer fire department as everyone struggles to find volunteers in that field nowadays. So just like we feed our sports programs, we're going to start feeding our fire program, hopefully. But all right, open public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none. Guess we have Mr. Hamilton here tonight. We'll get to him a little later on. Ratify the tax rate. Everybody got an email from me probably 2 weeks ago at this point that the tax rate had to be changed due to some miscalculations. So we need to ratify that decision. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we ratify the 2019-2020 tax rate as follows. Municipal tax rate 0.5504, local agreement 0.0028, homestead tax rate 1.4132, non-residential tax rate 1.4817, the total homestead tax rate 1.9664, and the total non-residential tax rate 2.0349, which is approximately $197.40 more per $100,000 of assessed value.
second.
So moved and seconded. I just wanted to make a comment about this before we vote on it. I had Michelle do the math for us to figure out what the increase was this last year, and I believe it was somewhere around a 22% increase in our municipal tax rate from last year to this year. And that was due to a variety of things, one of which being the new reassessment, and the other thing was the amount of additions and articles that were added in last year's town meeting caused our budget to significantly spike upwards again. And again, I don't know if you watch Facebook at all, but there was a very, very long thread about our increasing tax rate. So we need to keep that in mind when budget season comes. Again, there was multiple things that played into that 22% increase in municipal tax rate, but it was a significant increase. So moved and seconded. All in favor of the tax rates as read, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approval of regular meeting minutes from July 23rd, please.
Just that we need to add what the corrections were and correct the spelling. Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the minutes of July 23rd with a correction of, in the future, noting what the corrections are.
Okay.
And otherwise approve it as corrected.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the regular meeting minutes from July 23rd as corrected. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Bills and warrants, please, Mrs. Clark.
I move that we approve payment of the following warrant. 5T, accounts payable, $4,576.93. 33S payroll, $10,663.77. And that we ratify 3T, accounts payable, $84,470.02. 29S payroll, $12,168.12. 30S payroll, $11,306.64. 4T accounts payable, $52,848.11. 31S payroll, $10,949.08. And 32S payroll, $10,650.63.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the bills and warrants and ratify the bills and warrants as read. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I don't want to do this one. Appointment of vacancy to the Solid Waste Committee of me.
Yay. Congratulations.
Mr. Chair, I move we appoint you to the Solid Waste Committee.
Second.
Second.
How could you don't ever second anything, but you had to say it so fast, like it was.
I bet you the
'Cause
chair
I don't,
would
I
need to
just
set
say
aside
no.
and let you have that too.
Oh, good. So moved and seconded to appoint me as chair. I almost said it. Jeez, as to fill the vacancy on the Solid Waste Committee. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I am not going to vote on that one. Yes, ma'am. Cemetery deeds: Frost, Mallory, Shippey, and Paquette.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve and sign the cemetery deeds for the following. Margaret William Frost for Lot 601, Site A in Tyler Cemetery, so-called. Norman and Mary Mallory, lots 737, 738, and 739 in North Cemetery, so-called. Lawrence Shippey Sr., lot 265 in North Cemetery, so-called. And David and Laura Paquette, being lot 151 sites A and B and E and F, 152 sites A and B and E and F at North Cemetery, so-called.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the cemetery deeds as read. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
We all sign 'em.
Take one down, pass it around. Well, we might as well get started on the next thing. Delegate for the VLCT. Designated delegate for VLCT. That has been you traditionally. Would you like to continue that?
I would like to attend, yes.
Okay. So I make a motion to designate Sandy as our VLCT delegate.
Second.
Moved and seconded to assign, to designate Sandy as our VLCT delegate. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed?
I'm not for
Okay. Thank you. Abstention. So there's the 4 cemetery deeds. And I just need to sign this. Back to you. Okay, set budget workshop schedule. So we've been doing Wednesdays, is that correct? So it was this opposite Wednesdays of, or the same Wednesdays as select board
We
meetings.
did it the same week.
Okay. So is everybody happy with that schedule that we've been utilizing the last couple of years? Same week as select board meetings, Wednesday budget meetings? Okay. Direction for the department heads this year. Typically, we give them a cut your budget by 5% or flat it, or some sort of direction for them to work within. What are our feelings on that? Chris, we'll start with you and we'll work our way around.
I would say level.
Okay, Jeff?
I would say no more than level. Try for negative 5%.
Okay. Sam?
That's it. I think it's level.
Okay. G?
Level with a lot of consideration for what was not spent this year.
Yep.
To be
Agree.
taking that back.
So, again, what percent do the taxes go up? 'Cause I don't go on Facebook to read this.
Well, it didn't. We didn't. I didn't publish that on Facebook. It was just something that I asked Michelle to look up for us, so we had some sort of direction when we did the budget, and that we could publicly announce that with the decisions that were made at town meeting, above and beyond the budget that was set in front of them by the select board, this is what caused the increase. So,
Do you want the exact number?
sure, go ahead.
The municipal taxes increased by 26.33%, and the homestead rate increased by 6.14%. Although our municipal budget was only, I think, 5% up, the articles were, I didn't do exact numbers for the articles, but pretty close to $52,000 increase over last year. It was
So,
approved in articles.
our budget went up by 5%. We had $52,000 increased in articles over last year. The reevaluation of home values, all those things played a factor into that 26% increase. Our residents are obviously not happy. If you don't understand that, please look at the Vernon Facebook page and look at the 80 plus, 100 plus comments about people that, are very reactionary comments in some respects. I want to sell my house and get out of here. The tax rates are ridiculous. I don't understand it, blah, blah, blah.
So,
But,
and not to interrupt, so do you think it'd be appropriate on that page to say, this is our budget schedule, please come?
yes,
All right.
yeah. We
Because
will,
it sounds like, it'd be good to have some input from these people rather than just on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just, for those of you that don't spend as much time as I do on that page and other stuff, because I actually do some work on there as well, it was a pretty significant number of people that were fairly upset about their tax bill when they got it this year. And at the same time, those are the same people that made the decisions last year at town meeting to support the articles and increase budgets that were, set by us here that we thought was appropriate and increased, which is 100% their right to do. That's why we have town meeting, but there's two sides of it. And everybody saw it this year that those decisions that are made at town meeting can have a very significant effect. If it doesn't bother you because you're not paying taxes or you're not paying much taxes or whatever the case may be, it sure as heck bothers your neighbor. So please be very understanding when you are at town meeting about the things that you're voting for.
But I think our people only went up 5%, which is commendable,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Yep. So that's all I got to say about that. So we have a bunch of local ordinances that Michelle has been going through.
Wait, can I ask, still on the budget schedule? So we're
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
go-
sorry.
The,
Flat rate. Yes.
The next meeting is scheduled for September 3rd, that's obviously too quick
Yeah.
for department heads to get back to me, so do you want to start September 18th?
September 3rd, we might not even have a meeting. It kind of just depends because that's only a week away from today.
Yeah.
So if we don't have anything to talk about, we won't have a meeting for September 3rd. So yes, I'm okay with September 18th as long as everybody else is. As the first budget meeting. Does that make sense? We started in September last year, and it took us all of it to get the budget done, so.
So then my next question is, last year, you kind of switched your review process. You did a really quick review of all the departments that came in at the beginning, and then more detailed the second meeting. And the schedule was, we had more people during the second meeting. So do you want me to switch that and do just sort of quick overviews for the first
Yes.
department head visit? And then put less people in each meeting going?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because that just, I always feel like, and you guys throw in your sense too, that with that first budget go around, we don't really have enough to understand to discuss it on a long-term basis with the department head, because we don't have time to look at it. So that first one we could stack them in deep and do the first ones, and then do some deeper dives in the following meetings.
I agree.
Make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
it did feel real bottom heavy last year.
Yeah, and it might help us to get through the process quicker if we do this a different way. Okay. So we are asking our department heads to level fund or better, and also for that change in how the meetings go. Yes?
If it can, because where the town clerk is gonna have to increase his budget for a general and a primary next year,
Sure.
election budget.
Yeah.
So we need to take that into consideration.
Yeah. So everybody good with that? Level fund or better, and the schedule as we spoke about? Okay, great. All right, now local ordinance repeal. Unless you have anything, do you have anything else, Michelle?
Oh, that's it.
Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 weird little ordinances that don't really exist anymore because of change in the town and just other weird ordinances that have just been out there since like the 50s or earlier that have nothing to do with us anymore. So we would like to repeal them. Has everyone had a chance to review each ordinance from their packet that we're going to be repealing?
Yes, I move that we repeal the whole bunch. It should have been done before.
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
So moved and seconded to repeal all 6 ordinances, and I will read them just for clarification. Complaints against police personnel. We no longer have police personnel that are town employees. Cost accounting directives, extra police detail policy, handling of injured cats, unlicensed dogs, and small animals. All injured cats go to Jeff Dunkley's house on Dunkley Drive from here on out.
You can join the gang.
Purchase order policy and the Vernon newspaper policies, because we no longer have a Vernon newspaper. All those in, we gotta move in a second.
Get rid of them.
Just
We're
for
repealing all of them.
clarification, the handling of injured cats and animals
That's
is
Jeff's problem.
already in the animal ordinance. So just, because I'll get phone calls.
You don't know
Well, that's from
half of it.
1974.
Jeff handles all injured cats.
I know.
All right.
Good story for you after that.
Okay. All those in favor of repealing all 6 policies, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
And we'll be coming back with other ones that we may want to revise. I
So,
thought these would be-
so I'll tell you a funny story, not that this has anything to do with anything, but actually in the state of Michigan, if you swear in front of a woman or child, you can be arrested. That is one of their weird little laws that still exists, that's still on the books, but is not enforced.
How many times you get arrested?
I did grow up in northern Indiana, but I've never gotten arrested for that. So the Route 142 bridge update. If you were at the Planning Commission meeting, I can't remember when, but
A couple weeks ago.
Mike Renaud brought up that our bridge over Broadbrook has been red tagged by the state, which means nothing over 80,000 pounds can go over that bridge at one time. So that significantly affects Renaud's, because their crane sits about 120,000, if I remember correctly. Sir Sosmo's with lumber coming, Carroll Concrete with concrete coming, Zaluzny's with his equipment, which is right on the other side of the bridge, as well as NorthStar bringing equipment in and out of town as needed. So here's the silly thing. You can have an 80,000 pound trailer on this side and an 80,000 pound trailer on this side at the same time on the bridge, so 160,000 pounds, but Mike cannot bring his crane across, which takes up both lanes. That's 120,000 pounds because it's a single lane, but that's the statute. So Sarah Coffey, our state representative, got involved, made some contacts with the Agency of Transportation to kind of figure out what the schedule is to get this bridge repaired, because as of right now, technically everybody's supposed to be driving around Guilford if they have anything over 80,000 pounds, which affects a lot of our local business. The reconstruction of the bridge will start, I believe, right after Labor Day, which means that bridge will go down to one lane here and there. Which won't affect us tremendously, I don't think, outside of, again, commercial vehicles. It would be kind of a pain to get over there with one lane closed. And I believe it's supposed to be a 6 to 8 week project, if I'm remembering. There was a million emails when I was on vacation last week back and forth about this that Sarah was sending out to the Planning Commission. And I was copied on them. So that's the update on that bridge. So we will see some one-lane traffic after Labor Day, and hopefully get it back in the condition that all of our local businesses can use it again as appropriate.
Are they doing a full replacement on that?
They are not doing a full replacement, I don't believe. I think it's just some metal beams that need to be replaced. And another funny side note to that is, if you were at the Planning Commission meeting, some of you were, some of you weren't, Mike Renaud actually volunteered to fix that bridge for free for the state of Vermont, and they denied his request to fix it for free.
We'd like to spend.
So,
And he built the one in Guilford.
yeah, and he built several for the state. So hopefully he ends up getting the work and gets paid to do it then. Because if we're going to be silly, we might as well support a local business. So that's that. The Antioch Partnership and MPG update, that again was discussed at the Planning Commission meeting. Antioch University has offered to utilize a bunch of its graduate students to do an exploratory redevelopment of Vermont Yankee study. From water to ground testing to soil testing to all that kind of thing, through the economic development process. As well, there's a cost of about $30,000 a year. It's a 6-year program. We are hoping that NorthStar will kick in about half of that cost every year, so $15,000 a year. And we're also hoping to get some money out of the RFT fund, I think. I can't remember the acronym for it. But it's the Restoration Trust Fund from the state to pay for the other half. In the meantime, Michelle's working on the MPG grant, as she does every year, and hopefully we'll receive something to supplement this work that Antioch is doing to move it forward a little bit faster, because there's some facets of what they're trying to do that could be done by a civil engineer or something like that we can get through the MPG grant that will speed their process along to get to the economic development part of their study faster. Because as of right now, the economic development part probably wouldn't start for 3 to 4 years after they're done with soil testing and all that kind of thing. And that really, I think, puts us behind the 8 ball a little bit, being that it's only going to be 5 or 6 years from then that the site could be possibly ready for redevelopment. So if we can supplement some work through the MPG grant of what they're doing, and they can work together with Antioch, we can hopefully get to our end result of economic development quicker and see what is going to be good for that site. In addition, Mike Renaud has expressed interest in purchasing the site after The cleanup is done, so that was part of the planning commission meeting as well. And we'll see where that goes. Everything that we are doing, you know, from here on out, as far as the town, as far as economic development through the planning commission and with us, you know, backing them along the way is to make sure whatever ends up there is what's best for our community. Do you have anything you want to add?
I do. Can you pass a resolution to support the application for the municipal planning grant?
Mm-hmm.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded to sign the resolution to support the municipal planning grant for
Everybody
this
has
year.
to sign.
Did you second that, Chris?
She gave me.
I did. Oh, you did.
All those in favor,
I
please
know I
signify
did.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No, you just wanted to throw me under the bus
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
solid waste
yeah.
committee. That
It's the
was
only
your
time I'm gonna
that
second.
was your one big second
Yeah.
for the night.
Yeah.
Thanks
I'm
for that.
through.
Left you the top one. Didn't take it.
I didn't. That's okay. I don't like to feel important. It goes to my head.
Too late.
Well, I'll sign the top one then.
Do it. It's all yours, man.
All right.
Oh, well, tonight, second in the top line.
Yeah. Well, we're moving up in the world.
My day in the sun.
Good thing you're wearing linen.
That's right. Otherwise I'd be smoking hot.
The people of BCTV just have to love watching our meetings because I've watched other town meetings, town select board meetings, and they're so boring. It's like, come on.
We gotta get the ratings up.
You wanna
Yeah, we
pass
do.
that
We do.
back,
We're
Chris?
working on it. We're
You
working
might
on
wanna
it.
give that back to,
Yeah, I've got all of that.
We're getting,
Too, so
I think we're right up there. I think we're right up there as one of the top viewed town select board meetings.
Thanks for a good sitcom.
It's great. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. So let's do the historians real quick because I think we told the planning commission around 7:30 and I'm not sure who's here yet and it's only 7 o'clock. Because we really went through this agenda quick, which is awesome.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve and sign.
They didn't give me a letter
So you need
to
to
sign.
Okay.
I'll probably give them the minutes and then she can give me back a letter.
Okay.
Perfect.
The National Register signage grant for the school, South School.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. I just
I'm
have.
sorry, Pond Road Chapel
Okay.
No.
and the South School.
Oh.
They want both of them. Schoolhouse number 4
So fine, yeah.
and the historians for the Pond Road Chapel.
But that's their own property there, right? The chapel.
Do they own the property or just the chapel?
Oh.
No, they only own the chapel.
But not the land?
No, they own the land too, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I just thought. it was-
Whichever
They own
ones
the
are
chapel.
necessary.
The historians own the chapel.
With the land.
Yeah, but did they own the land around
Yes,
it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
That's why we
they-
have to do
Yeah, the tax-
waiver for
the
the
tax,
taxes.
yeah.
So, okay,
So
so
the-
for the schoolhouse, South School.
Yeah.
Yes.
They also wanted the highway department to install the sign.
Yes, I did see that.
And to ask the highway department to install those roadside markers when the grants are approved.
Okay. So moved and,
Second.
okay, moved and seconded. So do you have that, Michelle? That was kind of a,
I'll figure it out.
okay. So we're making a motion to approve approve them applying for a grant? I really don't understand this.
They just need a
Since
letter.
we've got a motion in a second, let's please tell me what the heck's going on, because I don't really understand what she's asking for.
They need a letter from the town.
Landowner permission to put
Okay.
the sign up, right?
You're right.
So that's all they want from us is just
Yeah.
permission, and then they're gonna do the grant and that kind of thing, and then they're gonna ask the town to install them?
Mhm.
Yes, we just need to allow them to install the marker.
Okay,
Yeah, they probably Can't
And-
apply without that
And
permission.
whatever you want to do with the highway department.
Okay. All right. So we got a motion. We got a second. Does anybody have any further discussion or question about this? Great. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Great. Fantastic. Okay. Since we were a little early on the agenda, we're going to get started anyway, just because I'm not going to sit here for a half an hour and twiddle my thumbs and wait for everybody to show up.
Can I ask a question about the last one really quick?
Mm-hmm.
Can I be sure to let the highway department know that they, if they're asked to install this sign, that they can do it if they have time? I mean, depending on the time of year that this happens, it may not be feasible for them to get ready to it. Just to make sure that's a caveat.
They have time.
In the summer, sometimes it's busy.
They have time. Plenty of time. Okay. So, NorthStar Decommissioning Community Engagement. Mr. Hamilton, please come up here and join us at the lovely 70s orange chairs we have provided for our guests.
Thank you.
Hey, a clean house for you.
He doesn't make dinner. Well, yeah, he does make dinner.
We're a lunch variety now, but
Yeah. I'd love to sing a song about it, but it wouldn't be appropriate, I know.
only if you dance with it.
All right. So, Mr. Hamilton sent us out some questions. Planning Commission members, if you want to bring chairs up, you are more than welcome to do so because you are very much involved in this conversation as much as the Select Board is. That's why you are here.
Am I okay here or should I move?
You're just fine. You're just fine. We'll go around you. And I think we have pretty much everybody that was going to be here from the Planning Commission. I got an email from Bob that he's not going to be here. I got a message from Patty that she's not going to be here. So that leaves Jessica, I think. That's it. Everybody else is
Yeah,
present?
because Jeff's.
Okay. So, all right. So I'll let you, how do we want to do this?
Can I just give a little context? Would that help?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, as you're all aware, there's the MOU, and part of the MOU requires NorthStar to, I'm going to read it, collaborate with stakeholders and establish an appropriate public engagement process regarding the decommissioning and restoration of the VY site, et cetera, et cetera. So they reached out to me and asked for some help figuring that out. What does collaborate mean? Who are the stakeholders? What's appropriate? What's engagement? Decommissioning, restoration, those words are pretty broad. And so they asked me to help them figure that out. And my advice to them was, step one is sort of ask people what they think. That's what I've been doing for the last few weeks. I sent the email out to you folks as well as to others. I have a list here of who got the email if you're interested, who responded, who didn't, the status of it.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. Appreciate that.
I think there's enough there. There's some more. And I've talked to about 20 people so far, all phone interviews. And they've been very just sort of general conversations about this topic. And I have some standard questions, but these sort of precipitated a longer dialogue. And I've just been listening and trying to listen the best I can as to what people are saying about what they're looking for. And so I appreciate the chance to be here today to simply continue that process. We can go through the questions if you want, but my experience has been once you ask the first question, it diverges pretty quickly. So we can start there, or I can just ask what you think about this, or how this feels to you, if that makes sense.
Okay, so just because we got two different groups here, I suggest that we go through these questions kind of one by one and do like I do with the select board meeting and just kind of go around And if you're kind of agreeing with everything that you're hearing from the person in front of you, then just say, yeah, I agree with everything that's been said, and we can move forward. So what the first one is what are the key elements of a successful public engagement process as described in the MOU? So Martin, we'll start with you and work your way around.
So not on your list. What are the successful elements? Well, I would say that it should be relatively broad, you know, and you've got quite a list already, but I wasn't on the list, so there may be other people that are not on the list. But I mean, to me, I'd like to back up half a step, if it's all right, and say, you know, what are we really trying to get out of this engagement process? Because there's already an engagement process, which is the handicap that exists, and, you know, that meets on a regular basis, and hears from NorthStar, and hears from the state, and so on and so forth. And, you know, which is well attended. And so I guess my question is, what's wrong with that? And what else are we trying to get out of this?
So I agree with you completely in that respect, that I think Indicap takes care of everything that needs to be taken care of. You know, as I was looking through these, and you know, how may this subcommittee differ or contribute to the work of Indicap? It doesn't, in my opinion. An additional subcommittee isn't needed. Because Indicap is doing the work already. That's the whole point. It's the Nuclear Decommissioning Citizens Advisory Panel. This is where citizens go to bring up their concerns. That's what Indicap has been since day one. So having a subcommittee, to me, doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, because you're doing the same work in a smaller group that probably will bring it back to Indicap because they're a subcommittee of Indicap, and going to be discussing it in Indicap meetings anyway, what was discussed in the small group previously. It's having meetings to have meetings, in my opinion. But
Agreed.
Yeah.
Jeff?
No comment, as this is outside my area of expertise.
Okay.
I agree with what he said.
Okay.
I also agree.
Okay. Michelle, you're on the list, so.
I think I'm on the list because I got an email sending you guys. I would not classify myself as a stakeholder. I am the liaison from the stakeholders to NorthStar, or from the select board to whoever needs it, but I would not classify myself as a stakeholder.
May I ask a follow-up question? Who is a stakeholder here in your mind, and maybe who is not?
I think it's somebody that lives in this community who's directly affected by what happens on that site. But that's my personal opinion.
And that's why you're on the
I
list,
think
is
it's
to get
up
your
to-
personal opinion.
Up to everybody who lives in town to decide who those stakeholders are. I don't live in the state of Vermont, so.
Maddie?
I agree with you. I think it's like beating a dead horse.
Tom?
I agree.
Okay.
And, you know, there's a bunch of people on this list who are handicap members.
Yes.
Including, you know, Senator McDonald, who is way up north somewhere and shows up when he feels like it at handicap.
I have a shirt for him. I wore it at the last Indicap meeting. Did you see it? Oh, you weren't there. So you know how his whole spiel was, who's left holding the bag?
Yeah.
I have a shirt that I wear to Indicap meetings that says official bag holder. So I don't know if that, Jim, if that kind of sums up all 5 questions for you, because it really kind of is what does this subcommittee do? How is it useful? What is that? And the resounding gong here is it's not a useful thing to do.
And that's fair. That's not dissimilar to some of the feedback I've already heard, which is why we're reinventing the wheel.
Sure.
Others have said the NDCAP has a clear mission. Are there issues around decommissioning and restoration that fall outside of the NDCAP area of responsibility, and are those worth discussion? And that's another dimension to this that I think
Yeah.
is part of the dialogue right
Yeah.
now.
And just because we play inside baseball in Vernon, because they're our backyard, the handicap is looking to change its scope of work. Now, it can't do that on its own. It has to be approved legislation.
Right.
So it's, you know, their scope of work, what it is today, could change, you know, tomorrow, so to speak. I hope it doesn't, but maybe it will. I don't know. I should be on that committee very, very shortly, personally. So I'm waiting for my governor appointment for the handicap committee, and they call references today because I got text messages from people that said, I got a call from the governor's office to see if you were an okay guy to be on handicap, and I told him that you were a jerk. Oh, thanks, appreciate it.
He hasn't called me yet.
Yeah,
No.
get the same thing.
I know, but
Jean got the call, didn't she?
yeah, it was you. It was you. So, and we've all, you know, kind of talked about this in our own little 5-minute conversations with each other, and as, you know, groups and that kind of thing about, well, what does the handicap do? What's the usefulness of it now?
Mm-hmm.
Now that the sale is complete and done, why do we even have an handicap still? Why doesn't it even exist? Because within other towns that have been decommissioned, the handicap, as soon as the sale had gone through or decommissioning had been, you know, completed to a point, they met once a year or not at all anymore.
Right.
Ours continues to, you know, even after the sale's been complete now, ours continues to be semi-proactive with quarterly meetings. So to add another layer of subcommittee meetings after the sale's done, after the decommissioning process has begun, after all the fuel's sitting on a pad already, what are we doing as a citizens advisory panel? We're going to tell NorthStar how to put stuff in a box and ship it out on a train car? It doesn't really make any sense for it to even exist, but I want to make sure whatever direction it goes into, it's in the best interest of Vernon as well.
Right, and I think that's well put. I think that if you think about decommissioning as, you know, a 7 or 8 year process, at the end of the day, there'll be a bunch of reports delivered, right? And it'll say we're done. And I think NorthStar's goal would be there'll be a bunch of heads nodding, saying, yeah, that's the way it should have been done, and we're standing behind it.
Sure.
Whether it's an NDCAP or not, an engagement process that informs and allows that head nodding to take place, I think is just good business. And so the question is, you've got NDCAP, it's doing its thing, is that sufficient for the whole duration of the project, given it's going to go through various phases, and there'll be different dimensions over time? You know, if we stick with NDCAP the way it is it the best committee it can be? Is it functioning the way you want it? Is the information you're getting the information you want? I mean, that's something else to consider as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this more complex than it needs to be.
Yeah, and I don't want to dominate this conversation either, but I'm very involved in the nuclear community as a whole across the country. So I feel that I have some reasonable input on stuff like this. But it's one of those things where, you know, are you looking for oversight, or are you looking for micromanagement?
Right.
You know, and the handicap wasn't put in place to micromanage the decommissioning of the plant, and for us to have a sit down with NorthStar every, 3 months and say, tell me exactly what you did. Give me your, report for the last 3 months of every piece of everything that you took out, how many tons of material you took out. Now, they've been very, very forthcoming with that information on their own without us even asking as a town. But our goal specifically is to make sure that the town of Vernon is taken care of through this process. As far as other stakeholders go, there is no other stakeholders except for the town of Vernon in my mind. We house that. We have the direct responsibility to our community to protect them through this process. We have the direct responsibility to make sure that this goes as smoothly, as efficiently as possible, so we can redevelop that land as efficiently and quickly as possible when it becomes available. And that's part of the reason why, even though I don't believe IndyCap is necessarily a useful committee at this point, it's part of the reason why I want to be on it, is to make sure that whatever happens going forward is that Vernon's interest is looked out for. We have one Vernon resident on the panel right now, and that's it.
Right.
And we need, more people involved in that conversation, because it is our backyard, in my opinion, that are from Vernon. And IndyCap is the place to do it. I don't think a subcommittee is going to be, is going to change the world at all in any way, shape, or form. So
I was on the Handicap for about 3 years. In fact, I think it's my seat that you're being appointed to.
Probably.
Or Kate's, I don't know. But, and actually, the first 3 years of Handicap was more interesting in a way, because we didn't know that that the place was going to be decommissioned. We thought we were going to be at this for 60 years. And we spent a lot of time looking at cask designs and safety and all kinds of things. But I think the indication there was that, what you saw, the amount of activity, we met more than just quarterly, is that this is an area that's just particularly interested and, to some extent, activist about the whole nuclear plant issue and the decommissioning. I lived down in the Berkshires, a few towns over from Roe, when that was being decommissioned, and you never even heard about it. I don't know that they had an handicap.
They did, but it wasn't very active.
Yeah, it was totally in the sticks, and, a few towns over, it was like, oh, there was a nuclear plant there. It was almost like that. So here, I think going forward, this will be a more active citizens advisory panel than you might have in other areas. But again, it is sufficient to deal with any issue that comes up. I don't see where anything that is remotely connected to the plant or to NorthStar or to the whole decommissioning work is outside the scope of what Handicap can stick its nose into if it wants to. Here in Vernon, as Josh said, we have particular concerns that are Vernon concerns, but we've got, they're right across the street. We've got a direct pipeline over there. We can pick up the phone and ask them. We can invite them to come to select board meetings or planning commission meetings if we have those concerns. And I don't think we need to set up a separate entity, a separate panel, or have an intermediary such as yourself in the process.
I'm not involved in the process between you and NorthStar. I have no intention of that. I'm just trying to get this thing birthed in the right direction. But, okay.
Anybody else have anything? Please feel free to jump in if you have anything to add.
So, all the people on this list, you hope to get some feedback from, or what do you mean by working interview list?
Well, it's just working me that's in progress. So as of today, everybody with a Y has either talked to me or wanted to talk to me. The people that have no demarcation I'm not gonna follow up with unless they bug me. So, I mean, I gave them a chance to sort of, this list was created
I know.
with NDCAP and NorthStar's, you know, expertise. I'm sorry, Martin, you were left off. The email was sent out August 6th, and people who responded I spoke with, and people who haven't, I'm not gonna badger them.
Yeah. No, there's, in my opinion, there's a number of people on this list that they're not stakeholders. And I hope that the people on this list that are actually from Vernon, from this community, you'll place a little greater weight on their opinions.
Understood.
Okay. Do we have anything else for Mr. Hamilton while he's here?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, we gotta kick you out, Planning Commission. We are going into executive session. A personnel policy, or excuse me,
Personnel issue. Contractual?
no, not contractual. Review of employee, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that the board and...
And Michelle, yes.
Michelle's going to executive session for appointment or employment or evaluation of public officer or employee, 1 VSA 3133A3, number 2 on the list.
Can I get a second, please?
Oh, second.
Moved and seconded to go into executive session on a review of a employee. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? We are in executive session. Went into executive session at 7:21, out at 8:06. No action was taken, and we're going to go right back in to discuss the town administrator contract.
Mr. Chair, I move that, I move to find that premature general public knowledge of the contract with the town administrator will clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage by disclosing this negotiating strategy.
Second.
Moved and seconded
First motion.
for the first motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I further move that we enter executive session to discuss the town administrator's contract with the town administrator under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A1 of the Vermont statutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded to go into executive session. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are in executive session at 8:08.
Okay.
All right, we went into executive session at 8:08 PM, out at 8:18 PM. No action was taken. Public participation on agenda items. There is no public. Everybody left us. Correspondence and town admin report, please. You have anything?
I do. I have a list of things. Okay, so in case you haven't gone through your packets, and noticed the Brattleboro Salvage is increasing their tipping fees. This was part of the reason that, back at last year's town meeting discussion, we upped the article for solid waste. So thank goodness that we did that, because not only should we expect recycling to go up, but now tipping fees are going up as well. We should be covered. I will check in with Cindy on that to make sure we're on track after we get the first few bills, because that varies from month to month, so. So that's where we are with that. The NRC is hosting a public meeting to evaluate the best practices in local decommissioning boards. So that's in your packet, details to follow, but it's on September 10th. Also, the certificate of public good was issued for the West Road Solar Project that we had talked about a little while ago, so we should see that coming up soon. You also, in your packet, yes, that was my pen, is nomination forms for VLCT Service Awards. So if you think of anybody, please turn those in. And Rescue Inc. Right now, our representative for Rescue Inc. position is vacant. So they're having their discussion about pretty much what services they're going to be providing their member towns on the 24th in Townsend. If anybody's interested in attending that, let me know. Dinner will be provided. Otherwise, I will attend
What time is
on our town's behalf. It's at 6 p.m., I believe, yes.
What date is that?
It's a Tuesday.
September 24th.
So do we need to find a representative, is basically what you're saying, for
We've been looking
rescue?
for a few years. It keeps
Well-
going out every once in a while with a list of, these are the,
Can we put it out on, have Tim put it out on
Volunteers.
Facebook? See if there's somebody that would like to do that?
Be that
our-
person?
Be our representative?
What, I mean, the 24th, I'm gonna be right there anyway, so I don't mind going to
So
that.
Chris is, I nominate Chris as
I'm
the
not-
representative for Rescue Inc.
I'd second that.
Moved and seconded to nominate Chris as our town representative for Rescue Inc. All those in favor, please signify by saying
it's
aye.
free dinner.
Aye. Those opposed? You the man!
Is this for real or are we playing?
Yeah, it's going to my
It's
calendar.
very real.
As
Well, it's literally one dinner. You don't do anything else, I don't believe, through this process, so.
Are you abstaining? Just-
Yeah, mhm, yeah.
I joined the solid waste. You have to do something new too.
And that's at their Townsend.
Townsend Fire Department, I believe it is. It's in your packet. It's in the, see, this is why I go through this. It's in the,
You should have read it.
it is, at the West Townsend Fire Station. West Townsend Station, Rescue Inc., West Townsend Station.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, it's their station up there. That's fine, I got it.
There's a
Okay.
GPS address.
Anything else?
I know where it is, I just
Oh, you
need to
do?
know who, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And the hazard mitigation plan has been sent to the state for approval. As soon as it gets through there, they will send it straight to FEMA for their final approval. Thank you to everybody who submitted comments, but hopefully we are on the home stretch of having that one big plan done. I've got to throw a huge thank you out to Alyssa Sveto out at Wyndham Regional Commission. She did a lot of work, a lot of legwork to get that plan done. And without her, it wouldn't be where it is right now. So big shout out to her for her help on that. And now that's it.
Okay, next meeting will not be September 3rd because that is next Tuesday. And I can't imagine a whole lot of town business is gonna happen in the next 3 or 4 days that we're gonna need to meet about. So it will be September 17th, followed by our budget meeting on September 18th.
Do we need to come in to sign warrants next week?
Yes, we'll need 3 people to come in and sign warrants per the norm. Please and thank you. We are adjourned.